Everyone, this is AVJVGaming, bringing you episode number 48 of this journey to the ultimate team. And as you can see up on screen, we're in our transfer list, showing you the players that sold on from the last episode. And I also picked up 2 informed Del Pieros. I was trading a bit of Casillas. I made 3k profit on that one, so I was, over the moon about that. A little bit of trading going into this series. So I believe a subscriber did ask me in the last episode, why don't you do as much trading? And that's because I more or less do trading on the Trading to a Team series, which is going to be now a new one that's going to be out fairly soon, so that'll be probably out on Monday. But up on screen, I'm building a new squad, and I'm going to have Draxler and De Bruyne, and that was something that me and a subscriber were talking quite a lot on Twitter. So if you guys don't have me on Twitter, be sure to follow me out on Twitter. It's at AVJVGaming. You can get some trading tips from me, and also, just some ideas on some squads, because recently I've been having quite a few discussions on certain squad builders, and you guys have been giving me some really good teams. I think one of them is a new reasonable squad builder. So we're going to have quite a lot of stuff. So for the subscriber that was me and him were talking, Draxler and De Bruyne, there's a squad. I know we were waiting for some time from when De Bruyne did move into the Bundesliga, and we're hoping that Draxler didn't go to Arsenal too quickly, because that would have meant that we'd have had to get our hands on his card from the Bundesliga. So either way, quite happy that they're both in the same league now. And over here, going into it against a League One, sort of a hybrid squad, I think it was. He had Koscielny and I believe Debuchy, but over here, moving in with some skill moves with Alaya, going in on goal, and then De Bruyne sending it straight to Mandanda's fingers, and then at halftime, that was the stats. So I felt quite in a dominant position, had a lot of shots, and all of them were on target. But I want to know from you guys, this is going to be the question of the day. Do you guys like seeing those halftime stats, or do you prefer me just, going straight through them and just moving on to the next bit of highlights? I want to know from you. Let me know down below in the comment section. And you can see over here we're getting a move it. De Bruyne heel flick into a roulette. Actually kind of went on the wrong side of the roulette, but nonetheless, finesse shot, and it went straight to Mandanda. And I was confused. De Bruyne was not hitting the target. I think I might need to go get a new one, because he's not as OP. This card is not particularly OP yet. You can find cards that are absolutely crazy and insane. But look at this bit of play over here. Blaszczykowski gets the cross in. Alaya's going to cross it back, and it's going to fall back to Blaszczykowski. He's going to cross it back in again, and then it goes back to Alaya, and I just said, just head the ball in, get it to Aubameyang, finish the job, and job done. So that was about it. He made it 2-0, and then over here, Dante almost finding the goal, finding the post, and Abraham finding the back of the net to make it 3-0 at this point. So quite happy, and I believe my opponent must have, thrown his controller, because he just completely from kickoff, he kicked the ball off, and then he just didn't tackle me. So we pick up a 4-0 lead, and that's how the game did end. We think we picked up the hat-trick with Aubameyang. So great stuff out there. Dante's going to get a contract, and I gave him a fitness by accident. So yeah, we're going to go and play a couple more games in this episode this weekend. I'm planning to do a Wheel of Fortune, a trading technique, a reasonable squad builder, and I'm not too sure what else I'm planning. So I've got lots of things out for you guys. And also the new series will start possibly on Monday or Tuesday. I might do 2 new series. One will be, actually no, I won't tell you guys, that'll spoil it. So nonetheless, into the second game of the episode. And this is the game that decides whether we will get promotion or whether we will remain in Division 3. And De Bruyne over here, my opponent's got a De Bruyne from Chelsea, and his one was overpowered. He was just getting everything. And over here we pick up a corner. Marquisio tries to get it down, and it falls to Guarin, and he just sends that wide. So we were unable to go and get a sort of an equalizer over there. And we get a ball into Ababo, and his check was managing to keep everything out, and I was just struggling to find a way through. Now this is a bit of play I wanted to show you. He takes his free kick, and I was just waiting. Now if you guys look at the radar, I'd highly recommend, if some of you play and you don't look at the radar, watch your players. I was watching Cuadrado actually making a run, either Cuadrado or Zuniga, and waiting for them to make that run into the space so I could feed the ball into my striker. And Victor Barbo, you give him the ball and he will finish the job. So there he does make it 1-1. And over here, Guarin using a bit of strength, finding a through ball into Marquisio, going for the shot, and Czech pulling that last minute save, and it kept us away from getting the lead over there. But into the second half, I did try going for a shot from a free kick in my own half, and his Czech was a bit wise to it, so he kept us out. And then over here, we find a ball with De Rossi into Ababo, and somehow he doesn't lock onto the ball. And I feel auto switching is also another issue with this year's FIFA, just not as sharp as it once was. But Ababo getting the ball back from Cuadrado, and those two Colombian players together are so deadly together. So we pick up the, I think we pick up the promotion, 8,800 coins, very nice stuff out there, and we'll take that. I think that'll pay off for Alaba. Cost us 9,800, so still 1,000 coins we need to make. But nonetheless, that's how I go about making my squads. Make my squads, play divisions, and you get your coins back through those promotions and those titles. And you can also get it through relegation if you are in Division 1 and not enjoying it too much. So I wanted to also ask you guys another question, and that was regarding objectives of the series. So one of my objectives at the minute is to win, or to get to Division 1 first, and then the second objective after that would be to complete it, and then we'll start, buying some really nice players and having a little bit more fun. I think if I can get my hands on one of those, even if it's to borrow a player like Neymar or Ronaldo or Messi, that would be absolutely insane, so I can have them in a squad for you guys. So right now, going to have our silver team, basically our Fidel Martinez and Chikawi hybrid, and we start this game off into the 5th minute. Chikawi getting the ball, De Gea running back towards his goal, and look at that for a long shot. Chikawi, one of the most craziest silver players in the game going now, but Martinez going with a scoop turn, going with a McGeady spin to absolutely fool that defender, and we try to get across, but it doesn't connect with anyone in the box. So my opponent then eventually got in with Mikel Arteta, and his shot was just a bit too much for my goalkeeper, unable to keep it away. And then over here, Mikel Arteta again, what a great shot over there, and he makes it 2-1. And I felt, the silver teams this year are not performing as well as they were last year. But over here, Chikawi going with a scoop, going with a McGeady spin, going with a scoop just to get back in line with the goal. And then over here, double roulette, going for the shot, and it doesn't go in. De Gea keeping it out this time. So I think we went with a long shot with Frey, and it somehow swerved away. I have no idea how that worked. But over here, Wilson finding it into Chikawi. He's pretty much running in on goal. Defenders trailing him, and he will tuck it in to make it 2-0. It picks up his second of the game. So quite happy with that one over there. But my opponent was much stronger in terms of shots. I had more or less more possession because I was just, playing for fun. That's one thing I want to do. Every episode, have one game where I'll play for fun, and the other games I'll play a little bit more seriously to win the divisions, more or less. So over here, Pedro Henrique finding the ball into AVJVG, and he gets a cross in, and this falls down to Martinez in the 79th minute, and he will tuck it into the back of the net to make my opponent sort of pay for giving the ball to us. But Deulofeu, this guy is absolutely crazy. I've used him in a Spanish squad as well, and I know he's a very good player, but just the pace on my opponent's side was outrunning my defense. That was a slight issue. So maybe silver teams are not all that this year in comparison to gold squads, but I still have a lot more fun playing with silver teams. Just, so much more enjoyable, and you can find players that is so overpowered and so underrated that that's the whole fun of it. So anyway, second game we're going to go and play. I believe it's a single player cup match, or was it the Association Shield? I'm not too sure. It's one of them too. So into this match we do go. Yeah, this was the single player match. The other one I think was the Association Shield. And we're up against a 4-1-2-1-2 English side. So we've got Joe Hart in goal. Kind of a change up. We've got Jarvis over the left mid, a very good player. And we start this game over here pushing the 9th, 10th minute. Chikawi over here going to go with McGeady spin, go with the scoop, try to go with a rainbow flick and into the shot. And the keeper, Joe Hart, making a very nice save. So getting to another question I believe one of you asked me, or a challenge, and that was, would you do, some really crazy, skills? And I'll actually think about doing that. But over here, look at this skill run from Martinez, and it sends it straight into the grasps, pretty much straight into the defender over there. So I think the skill move that you guys wanted to see, or the subscriber wanted to see, was a flick into a rainbow flick, and if I could do that. So I'm going to try my best to get that in the upcoming episode. That sounds something that I'd actually like to do, because it would be a goal that looked quite insane, and I'm actually going to do a bit of a variation, as I think just doing a flick might be a little bit, I don't know, I'm not too sure if it's going to be too easy, but I'm going to do a bit of a change up. Over here, you can see Chikawi getting past with a heel flick, getting with a McGeady spin into a shot, and the keeper does make a save. Then we get a corner, and Chikawi is going to connect on that to make it 1-1. And I'm not too sure if you guys saw, I brought on Chamichi, I think that's how you say it. So brought him on for the team. Look at these saves from our goalkeeper Bazzari over here, really trying to pull off some great stuff. So maybe if you guys want to make a silver Argentine squad, get him as your goalkeeper, you will actually find him really good. And over here, cleverly was through. I felt it was going to be a goal, but Bazzari again pulling off a very nice save. And then into the 77th minute, we get a corner, and Kufri is going to make it 2-1. So not bad over here. And then we're going to find a little bit another play. Frey into a cross into the 85th minute, and Chermiti gonna go and make it 3-1, and that was how that game actually went on to end. So we're going to wrap this episode up on that game. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. By all means, drop it a like, subscribe, and we're going to have a few new videos out tomorrow. So this has been AVJVGaming, and I'll catch you guys for the next episode.